Kirana aggregators, which allow the discovery of various Kirana outlets and retail outlets in various regions. And the BAP is an open source version. It's an open source PWA. We will look into the the rendering of the open source PWA later. But there is a PWA which can be hosted by any platform like Google Pay or Phone Pay. These super apps can actually host these BAP applications and actually generate orders. Right. This network is currently under development. And moving on, there is an open delivery network, it's sort of a B2B delivery network where the where the restaurant aggregators and the Kirana aggregators can actually place delivery orders for retail orders they have received, which from the end customer. Right. So it contains retailers on retail aggregators on one end, which is the buyer end, and it contains delivery aggregators like Dunzo, Shadowfax, Mycelium, etc., which have implemented the BPP end of the delivery specifications and actually are now an older version of this network is currently live and it is actually generating orders. And both of these platforms have implemented the backend specifications and now are currently in the process of migrating to a newer version of the specification. So as I had mentioned, that a topological extension of sort of topological cascading of these networks will actually result in something like this, right? Which means there are a bunch of buyer applications generating orders to these retailers. These retailers are actually acting as BAPs or for a delivery network, which are actually placing delivery orders, right? Which means that the buyer has and the same thing can actually be configured in a parallel way, where the buyer can actually place a retail order on one network and actually place a delivery order on another network, while all within the same transaction. Right? So that's the total sort of summary of all the networks which are currently in progress. There are other networks which are in development phase or are in design phase, but we'll not be covering those in this session. But otherwise, all of these networks, just in summary, all of these networks follow the same set of specifications with added domain level taxonomies and help us in creating rich integrated experiences to the end user. Right. So ultimately, where does this all lead to? This actually leads to, as I said, integrated services using open networks, which means the as I had mentioned before, right? The experience or the number of possibilities that these various topological configurations of these networks can lead to is only limited by our imagination, right? You can have a retail order done by one platform, have it delivered by somebody, and actually have a loyalty program being offered by a third network, right? Or you can have a tourism you can have a tourism experience where you are able to book a hotel on one network, arrange a tour by another network, and actually have the local cuisine serviced by another network. Or one of my favorite examples is that, hey, if you're sort of booking a cab, and you can actually have coffee delivered on the way to your office, via a separate, like for example, you can use Dunzo to get a coffee delivered on the way to office in your cab, right? Because now that Dunzo and all the other platforms are sort of speaking the same language, we can actually allow creation of these multiple networks. And maybe we can have a small imagination exercise sometime later to actually see what all are the various possibilities that can actually come out of implementing these specifications, right? Similarly, for healthcare, you can have a diagnostic booking done on one network. Then you can actually do a doctor consultation, and then you can buy pharmacy the medicine from another network, and also take a cab, say have postprandial food or diet after the actual consultation itself, right? So again, all of this can be sort of integrated and packaged into one single transaction, right? So this is what this all means, what open networks can actually lead to, and what the implementation of these specifications can allow the developers of this ecosystem to do, right? It basically allows acceleration and a basic acceleration of what do you say, innovation, and it enables innovation across multiple layers, right? Which means that since this specification is completely form agnostic, right, it does not matter whether the application providing the service is a mobile application, is a web application, it could be a smart device for all you know, it could even be a social media platform for all you know, right, to generate orders. Similarly, the same thing allows the sellers or the provider of services to actually do what they are good at, right? Which means that now as I had mentioned earlier, as I've given an example, for example, if I own a small fleet of bikes, a very small a fleet of very efficient, very energy efficient bikes, today what I will need to do is I need to not just manage this fleet of bikes and make it an efficient product, but also I need to do the marketing around this product. I need to actually acquire customers. I need to hire a software team. I need to develop an application, onboard customers, do that entire exercise, spend hundreds of thousands of marketing dollars to actually acquire and bring customers to my platform, right? But if I am on an open network, if I just get a small software agency to just build this protocol stack for me, do the compliance tests and everything and plug into a network, I'm automatically discoverable by every other platform which has implemented the buyer side. For example, if we have Google Pay and Phone Pay and Paytm and WhatsApp on the other end who have implemented the specifications, I'm literally discoverable to the entire user base of WhatsApp, to the user base of Google or user base of Phone Pay, which means that my entire marketing cost has literally come down to zero. Right? All I need to do is simply implement the specification, register myself on a local registry, and voila, I'm actually discoverable by everyone. Now, my entire objective is to make sure that I have the best product. So, which means I can now actually focus on building best product than actually focusing on acquiring customers, because the customers are naturally discoverable by virtue of being on the network.